studios, is now available to anyone with a computer
Really?
and an internet connection, thanks to AI.
That's incredible. I'm looking at a research paper here you sent over, and it talks about removing objects from like complex scenes with a single click.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like just yesterday we were all like painstakingly cloning out blemishes in Photoshop.
Right.
Now AI can reconstruct entire backgrounds and take into account like texture, lighting, even perspective.
And what I think is really fascinating is that these AI models aren't just like copying and pasting pixels.
No.
They're learning from massive data sets of images. And
Yeah.
this allows them to actually understand the visual world.
Okay, so you're telling me that these algorithms can like analyze an image and tell the difference between a real tree and a tree that's been digitally added.
In a way, yes. They can identify patterns, spatial relationships, and even like the physics of light and shadow.
Wow.
They're able to recognize the structure of, say, a woven basket, the way fabric drapes, or how light would reflect off a glass of water.
Huh.
And that's why they can seamlessly remove an object and replace it with content that looks so natural.
It's wild. So the brains behind this magic are these things called GANs and diffusion models.
Yeah.
And our notes here say they're types of neural networks. Can you unpack that for us a little bit?
Absolutely. So imagine, right, two AI models,
Okay.
and they're engaged in a kind of competition.
Right.
One, called the generator, it creates images from scratch,
Mm-hmm.
while the other, the discriminator, tries to distinguish these generated images from real ones.
Okay.
So they're constantly trying to outsmart each other. And it's this adversarial training that pushes them to become incredibly good at producing realistic images.
Gotcha.
That's the basic idea behind GANs.
So it's like this constant back and forth, pushing each other to get better and better.
Exactly. Now, diffusion models
Okay.
work a bit differently.
All right.
They're trained by adding noise to an image and then learning to reverse that process,
Interesting.
essentially denoising the image back to its original state.
Oh, okay.
This allows them to generate highly detailed and realistic images from noisy or incomplete data. Think of it like a master puzzle solver, like piecing together a picture.
I like that analogy. So from what I'm seeing in these software guides that you shared, Adobe Photoshop seems to be at the forefront of this technology.
Right.
There's a lot of buzz around its generative fill feature powered by Adobe Firefly.
It's quite revolutionary.
Yeah.
Generative fill allows you to remove objects and reconstruct backgrounds, even in
Yeah.
those complex scenarios, and you can often do it with a single click. And it goes beyond just filling in the gaps. It adapts the lighting, perspective, and texture of the surrounding area to ensure a seamless blend.
And I see in one of these articles, there's a pro tip
Yeah.
that says selecting a wider area around the object gives the AI more context and leads to better results.
Right. Give it some breathing room, basically.
Exactly. And while generative fill is this new tool,
Yeah?
don't discount Photoshop's classic content-aware fill.
No, not at all.
Still very relevant, it seems, for simpler edits, analyzing adjacent pixels to maintain that continuity.
Exactly.
Now, for those of us who may not be Photoshop experts, there's also Fotor, which is presented in your research as a more user-friendly alternative. It's
Yeah.
cloud-based, so no need for a supercomputer.
Exactly.
And it's known for delivering those high-quality results, especially for less complex projects.
Fotor is a great entry point for anyone who wants to experiment with AI-powered photo editing.
Yeah.
Its accessibility and ease of use make it a fantastic option.
Okay, so we've got a grasp on the why and the how behind this technology.
Right.
Now let's talk about actually using it. What are the steps involved in removing an object from a photo using these tools?
Well, one of the sources you sent over, a podcast chapter in Spanish, outlines a really straightforward 4-step process:
Okay, I'm all ears.
initial evaluation, preparation, execution, and refinement.
Okay, let's break that down a bit. What does the initial evaluation involve?
So it's all about analyzing the object you want to remove and, its surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
Is it on a simple or a complex background? Are there any, challenging lighting effects?
Okay.
This initial assessment helps you choose the right tool and approach. Once you've assessed the situation, it's time for preparation.
Yeah.
Always create a backup of your image.
Right.
You never want to lose the original,
Makes sense.
and then zoom in close, for more precise work.
Yeah.
We're aiming for seamless edits that look totally natural.
Got it. Back up and zoom.
Exactly. Then comes the exciting part, the execution.
The execution phase, all right.
Exactly.
Let's do it.
This is where you select your tool, whether it's generative fill,
Yeah.
content-aware fill, or maybe a similar function in another program.
Okay.
Carefully make a selection around the object you want to remove and adjust any parameters as needed.
Hmm.
The AI will take over from there, doing the heavy lifting for you.
Nice. So then we have the refinement stage.
Right.
This is where we make sure everything is perfect.
Exactly.
Okay.
After the AI has done its work, you'll want to carefully examine the edges of the edited area,
Right.
looking for any, inconsistencies or unnatural transitions.
Got it.
You might need to adjust the lighting or texture to ensure a perfect match with the surrounding area.
Makes sense.
It's all about those final touches to create a truly believable result.
Okay, so while this all sounds incredibly powerful,
Yeah,
I'm guessing there are some limitations to what this tech can do, right?
you're right.
Okay.
There are certain scenarios that still pose a challenge, even for those most advanced AI models.
I see.
For instance, highly detailed textures, like, say, a close-up shot of a woven basket or an intricate pattern on clothing, can sometimes be a bit tricky.
So while the AI might understand the overall scene, it could struggle with those finer details.
Exactly.
Yeah, sure.
And then there are reflections
Yeah.
and semi-transparent objects like windows or glasses of water.
Okay.
These can really throw off the AI because it needs to account for what's being reflected or seen through the object,
Right.
adding another layer of complexity.
Yeah, it's like those optical illusions that mess with our brains.
Right.
It seems AI still has some catching up to do when it comes to, replicating those kinds of visual effects.
That's a great analogy.
Thanks.
Another challenge is crowded scenes, where there are many overlapping objects, a complex interplay between elements.
Right.
Removing an object from such a scene can lead to unnatural-looking areas,
Okay.
because the AI might struggle to convincingly fill in the gaps without creating noticeable artifacts or distortions.
Yeah, it's like trying to remove a single thread from a tangled mess.
Right.
It's bound to leave some disruption behind.
And speaking of potential disruptions, we should consider the hardware requirements.
Yeah, good point.
While these tools are becoming increasingly accessible, running them effectively often requires, a decent amount of processing power.
So we're probably not doing this on our old flip phones, right?
Not quite.
Okay.
Your research suggests a modern processor, like an Intel i5 or i7 or an AMD equivalent.
All right.
You'll need a good amount of RAM,
Okay.
at least 8 GB, but 16 GB is recommended for optimal performance.
Gotcha. So a reasonably powerful machine is needed.
Right.
Anything else we should keep in mind?
Yes. Having a dedicated graphics card, or GPU, that's compatible with AI processing will make a huge difference in terms of speed and efficiency.
Okay.
And finally, an SSD for storage.
Right.
That'll significantly reduce those loading times.
Makes sense. It's like a real time saver. So it's worth investing in a decent computer setup to really get the most out of these AI tools.
I think so.
I think it's important to address the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
This technology is incredibly powerful.
It is.
And I imagine there are ethical implications we need to consider.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Your research emphasizes the importance of responsible use and transparency.
Okay.
So if you edited an image using AI,
Yeah.
it's crucial to be upfront about it,
Yeah.
especially when sharing it publicly.
Right.
Don't try to pass it off as an unedited original.
It's about maintaining integrity, especially in a world where visual media is so, pervasive and influential.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We also need to be mindful of documentary integrity.
Okay.
These tools should never be used to deceive or mislead, to create false narratives, or to manipulate evidence.
So no faking moon landing or
Yeah.
photoshopping ourselves into pictures with celebrities?
Definitely not.
It's okay. Good to know.
Even in more creative contexts,
Yeah.
it's important to maintain visual consistency with the facts, Avoid drastically altering the scene or introducing elements that weren't originally there.
Right.
The goal should be to respect the essence of the original image, even as we enhance or modify it.
It's a reminder that even with these powerful tools,
Yeah,
ethical considerations should always be at the forefront.
absolutely.
And I imagine there are legal aspects to consider as well,
Yeah,
particularly concerning copyright and usage rights.
you're right.
Okay.
It's essential to adhere to the regulations surrounding visual content
Mm-hmm.
and to ensure you have the right to use and modify the images you're working with, especially if you plan to share or distribute them.
All excellent points.
Right?
Now let's shift gears and look towards the future.
Okay.
Your research paints this fascinating picture of what's on the horizon for AI photo editing.
It is exciting.
What are some of the advancements and trends we can expect to see?
So we can expect even greater precision in image reconstruction, pushing the boundaries of what's possible. AI models will continue to get better at recognizing patterns, textures, and those finer details we talked about earlier.
So, like, those tricky elements, like reflections and complex textures,
Yeah.
will become less of a hurdle.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Along with increased precision, we can anticipate faster processing speeds without any compromise on quality.
Really?
So edits that once took minutes or even hours will happen in a matter of seconds.
Wow, it's like the evolution of computers in general.
Right.
Everything keeps getting faster and more efficient.
You're absolutely right. As for new capabilities, there's some truly mind-blowing potential on the horizon.
Hear it.
3D reconstruction is one area that researchers are really excited about.
Okay.
Imagine being able to remove an object from a photo and then generate a realistic 3D model of the space it occupied.
Whoa, that's amazing.
Right.
So not just filling the gap, but actually recreating the missing volume in 3 dimensions.
Exactly. It's incredibly complex,
Yeah.
but researchers are making remarkable progress. Another area of development is temporal consistency in video editing.
Oh.
Currently, these AI tools are primarily focused on still images.
Right.
But imagine removing an object seamlessly from a video
Yeah,
across multiple frames, maintaining perfect continuity.
that would be true digital magic, making things disappear without a trace, like they were never there.
It would be a game changer for filmmakers and video editors.
Totally.
And looking at the broader picture, these advancements are going to democratize professional level editing.
That's a big deal.
Right. More and more people will have access to these powerful tools, blurring the lines between amateur and professional work.
It's like putting a Hollywood-grade special effects studio in everyone's hands.
Precisely.
Wow.
And as AI becomes more sophisticated, it's going to raise the bar for quality standards across the board.
Really?
New benchmarks will be set for realism and precision, influencing our perception of what looks visually acceptable.
So AI is not only a tool,
Mm.
but also like a driving force behind evolving aesthetic standards.
I think that's an interesting way to put it, and I think it's true.
That's fascinating.
Another impact will be on workflow optimization.
Okay.
Professionals will be able to achieve stunning results much faster
Yeah.
and more efficiently, leading to quicker turnaround times and increased productivity.
It's streamlining the entire creative process from like concept to final product.
Right.
All this talk about the future is making me want to jump in and try these tools myself.
Damn you.
What kind of hands-on exercises can our listener experiment with to like experience this digital magic firsthand?
Well, your research suggests a tiered approach, starting with the basics.
Okay.
A good beginner exercise is removing a simple object from a plain background.
Okay.
This helps you get familiar with the tools and the basic selection process.
So kind of like a digital Where's Waldo?
Yeah.
But instead of finding him, you're making him disappear.
Exactly.
I like that.
Once you're comfortable with that, you can move on to an intermediate challenge.
All right, what is it?
Removing an object that casts a shadow.
Okay.
This adds another layer of complexity because you're not only removing the object, but you're also dealing with its interaction with light and the surrounding environment.
Oh, right.
You're not just removing the object, you're erasing its trace from the scene.
That sounds like a fun challenge.
Yeah, and for those who really want to push the limits, there's the advanced challenge,
Uh-huh.
attempting to remove elements from a complex scene with various textures, overlapping objects, and challenging lighting conditions.
Okay.
This is where you can truly test the capabilities of these AI tools.
It's like going from painting by numbers to creating a full-blown masterpiece.
Exactly.
Where can our listener find these exercises and learn more about these incredible tools?
So your research points to some excellent resources.
Yeah.
Both Adobe and Fotor have comprehensive online tutorials that walk you through the ins and outs of their software. They're a great starting point for anyone new to these tools.
Right. Straight from the source, that makes sense. What about connecting with other enthusiasts? Are there communities where people share tips and tricks?
Yeah, you'll find tons of online forums and groups
Really?
dedicated to photo editing and AI.
Cool.
They're treasure troves of information. You can get troubleshooting tips, discussions on advanced techniques.
Nice.
It's a great way to, learn from others and share your own experiences.
It's a gathering place for, like, digital magicians to swap secrets.
Right.
I like it.
Mm.
Now, your research also mentions lists of complementary software. Are there other programs out there that can work alongside these main tools?
Absolutely. There's a whole ecosystem of specialized programs and plugins that can enhance your AI-powered editing workflow.
Wow.
Some offer unique features, while others focus on, like, specific tasks or challenges.
It's like having a toolbox full of, like, specialized gadgets for
Exactly.
different editing needs. For those who want to dig deeper into the technical side, are there resources that go beyond the how-to and delve into the why of this technology?
Yeah, you bet. There are some excellent books and articles
Okay.
that explore the fascinating world of AI algorithms
Hmm.
and the science behind them. They
Hmm.
also examine the broader implications of AI
Yeah.
for the future of visual media, which I think is a pretty thought-provoking topic.
Yeah, this deep dive has really opened my eyes.
You too.
It's amazing how AI is transforming photo editing,
It really is.
giving everyone the power to manipulate images with incredible precision and ease.
Yeah, it's a true paradigm shift in how we create and consume visual content.
That's true.
But it also raises some important questions.
Like what?
As these tools become more powerful and readily available,
Yeah,
how will they shape our perception of reality in the years to come?
right.
What does it mean for, authenticity and trust when realistic editing is so easily achieved?
Yeah, it's a crucial conversation to have as a society, especially as the lines between what's real and what's like digitally altered become increasingly blurred. For now, I encourage you to explore these AI tools, experiment with them, and discover those creative possibilities they offer.
Absolutely.
It's a fascinating and ever-evolving field.
Just remember to always use these tools responsibly and ethically.
Yes.
Have fun, stay curious, and always be critical of the images you see.
Well said. This deep dive has taken us from cutting-edge technology to practical tips and those thought-provoking ethical considerations. AI is revolutionizing the world of photo editing, giving us unprecedented power to shape and reshape our visual world.
Yeah, as you embark on your own digital magic journey,
Hmm.
just remember to have fun, stay curious, and keep exploring. You never know what incredible creations you might conjure up.
That's great advice. Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.